First video of 2023. Can't believe how time flies. Guys, I hope you had a wonderful holiday season and I'm wishing you all a happy new year. And let's start this year in the best way possible to talk about some of the most sexy fragrances that you can wear this year, 2023. Hi everyone, I'm Anonimo from Scented Moments channel, where I help you to discover the wonderful world of perfumery. So in this video, I want to approach a topic that, everyone really talks about that and everyone wants to know what is the most sexy fragrance that you can wear. So I consider that I have quite a few sexy fragrances, at least in my opinion, or at least these are fragrances that make me feel sexy. I have here 12 fragrances, 6 designers and 6 niche fragrances, although I have a couple of exclusive designer fragrances because, I can't leave some exclusives out because they are that good. But overall, these are some of the most sexy fragrances that I have in my collection. And so let's start from the designer side of things. This is a unranked video, so I will not mention them in a specific order. So starting off with the designer, in the designer side of things, the first fragrance that I have here is from the house of Cartier, and it is Pasha de Cartier Parfum. What a fragrance this is. Actually, this fragrance really gets me a lot of compliments, but this video is a bit more than that, because these are fragrances that will make you feel, or at least they make me feel sexy, even if I don't get that much compliments while I'm wearing these fragrances. But yes, Pasha de Cartier Parfum, fantastic scent, very sexy in my opinion. This is lavender, has that barbershop feel, but it's more sweet, more warm, cozy. This has like a boozy accord with ambers. It has a patchouli in here also, although the booziness is not featured as an official accord. I get like a cognac feel, but it's not featured as an official note. So for me, this is more of a ambery, warm, resinous, sweet, slightly boozy barbershop scent. Amazing fragrance, absolutely love this. And then you have the patchouli in the dry down. Beautiful. This is a modernized fougere, a sweeter, like a oriental fougere, if that's even a category, but I think it's the best way to describe this fragrance. It's thick, rich, enveloping. It's just to die for. It's one of the best designer fragrances released in recent years. It's Pasha de Cartier Parfum. Next fragrance, this is a no stranger when we are talking about fragrances that makes us feel sexy, or when we want to talk about like sexy fragrances and whatnot. This is a fragrance that I think it's already a Hall of Famer in this topic. It is Dior Homme Intense. Doesn't need any introduction. This is the new version, and actually I do prefer this version. I was never a big fan of the previous version of Dior Homme Intense, just because it was very sweet and very makeup-y to my taste, and I have a sweet tooth, but for some reason I never really connected with the previous version of Dior Homme Intense. Go figure. But I absolutely love this line. This is, if not my favorite, one of my favorite designer lines out there. This one has a perfect balance, especially this version, specifically like the 2020 or 2021 version. It has the perfect balance between the Dior Homme and Dior Homme Parfum. Love those two fragrances, but this one is a perfect balance between them. This has the suede, but also has a lot of ambrette seed. So this is musky, creamy musky, with that cacao, makeup-y iris. It's just beautiful to die for. This is pure sensuality, pure sexiness in a bottle. It has a layer of mysteriousness. So I absolutely love this. I think everyone should at least try this fragrance. I think it's already a classic in my opinion, and it's really a scent that everyone should try. It's Dior Homme Intense. And actually I just figured out, although these are fragrances that make me feel sexy, these are sexy fragrances and perfect to kickstart the year, you know, but none of these were released last year, like 2022. Any of these are that new. I have some that were released in 2021, for example, but none of these were released in 2022. Still talking about the designer fragrances, this is an exclusive. It is from the Les Exclusifs from Chanel, Coromandel. This is the Eau de Parfum concentration, and this is just addicting. Absolutely love this one, Patchouli. And actually, I love Patchouli. I think that Patchouli, it's a really sexy note. Not for everyone though, because it might have that mature feel, that mature retro feel that might not be for everyone, but I really love the enveloping, the addictive, the mysterious, the dampness, and the depth of Patchouli. This one though, it's a sweeter, more delicate Patchouli, like Chanel does. Chanel does this soft, delicate, but elegant fragrances, and this is no exception. Although this is sweeter and it gives a gourmand quality because of the white chocolate accord, but the Patchouli in the end, it's really front and center. It's the main note of this fragrance, but this has that softness, that those aldehydes underneath with this creamy white chocolate. I mean, it's beautiful. It's to die for. It's addicting. It's yummy, and it's what long lasting, at least on my skin. Doesn't project all that much though, but it performs really well. I mean, the longevity is great. I don't have any complaints whatsoever. This has also enough depth to, I mean, to be appreciated by people who want more than just sweet fragrances. I love this one. This is also already a classic from Chanel. It's a must try when you want to start to dive into the Les Exclusifs. I mean, this is a staple. This is one of the fragrances that you have to try from Chanel, from the Les Exclusifs line. I absolutely love this. This was love at first sniff, and this makes me feel so sexy, and it's one of the best date night fragrances. The next fragrance is from the house of Garland, from the L'Art et la Matière collection, and this one is Tonka Imperiale. This is the older bottle presentation, which I'm very proud to have. I actually do prefer this bottle presentation. It feels more elegant, but I mean, the new bottles also are fine, but I don't know, I just connect with these bottles more. Tonka Imperiale, love at first sniff. Also, I love tonka beans, and I mean, tonka beans is really everywhere in all fragrances, or at least in a lot of fragrances. Tonka Imperiale is, for me, the best tonka bean centric fragrance. It's realistic, it's natural smelling, a tonka bean, but you also have this creamy bitter almond with tobacco leaf. Absolutely brilliant, to die for. The only downside of this fragrance, although incredibly sexy, but it's the performance. Unfortunately, and although this is an eau de parfum, but this doesn't last that long on my skin. I mean, we are in the 5-hour mark, which is okay, but I mean, I would prefer that this would last more. And after all, this has heavy notes. I mean, the almonds, the creaminess, the tonka bean, the tobacco. I mean, this has heavy notes, but for some reason they don't last on my skin, unfortunately. But while they last, I mean, while this fragrance lasts, it's wow. I just want to keep smelling and smelling because it's that good. And again, it's the most realistic, natural smelling tonka bean that I put my nose on. There's also Fève Délicieuse, which I actually do love from Christian Dior, but that it's much sweeter. And although you, of course, you really have the tonka beans in there, but this one is more real because the tonka bean itself, it's not that sweet. If you smell the raw material, the tonka bean, it's not that sweet as in a Fève Delicieuse. It's more like a bittersweet almondiness, and then you have here also the tobacco, but the tonka bean is more that. It's not like a sweet candy, let's say. That's why I do prefer this one, but Fève Delicieuse is also amazing. I mean, and you have also great fragrances with tonka bean. Actually, if you don't want to spend a buck in Tonka Imperiale in the La Reine La Matière collection, because nowadays this is very expensive, you can go with the L'Homme Eau de Parfum, which has the cherry, which I absolutely love. And actually, it's one of the best cherry accords that I tried in a designer scent. So as an alternative to Tonka Imperiale, I would say L'Homme Eau de Parfum. Beautiful scent. Also has an issue. I have an issue with the performance, but it's not that bad. It actually performs a bit better than Tonka Imperiale, but in terms of quality, of course, Tonka Imperiale is better. But still, one or another. I mean, if you don't want to spend the buck, go with L'Homme Eau de Parfum. If you want something slightly more special, and if you have some spare money to spend, I mean, go with Tonka Imperiale by Garland. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance right here. Next fragrance, this is from House of Viktor and Rolf, Spicebomb Extreme. Now, it's been a while since I featured this fragrance, and this is one of my guilty pleasures. I mean, this bottle presentation is a bit tacky, but still it's funny. It's a funny looking bottle. It's really a hand grenade, this fragrance, it's for tobacco vanille lovers, and that's why I didn't feature tobacco vanille, because this fragrance has that vibe. It has the cinnamon, the tobacco, the vanilla. I also have tonka beans in here, so this really do have a bit of that tobacco vanille feel, but it is more creamy. The vanilla here, it's much creamy. And the cinnamon also, it's more present, but I really do love this fragrance. This fragrance is really addicting. I didn't feature this fragrance more often this year just because, I mean, I already featured in previous years and I wanted to change things a bit, but still I can't deny how good this fragrance is. It's, for me, the best from Viktor and Rolf nowadays, especially from the Spicebomb collection. I mean, nowadays they have so many flankers that I even lost count. The original was fine, but the current version, I mean, it's I really don't appreciate it because it's just a sweet, spicy fragrance, and it's, I don't know, it's an airy, just sweet pepperiness, let's say. So it's I don't know, it's not special. And I think in that category, Bugatti Man in Black, which I have and absolutely love, does a better job, has more layers. You have the booziness, you have the leather. So it definitely has more depth than the current version of the original Spicebomb. And then you have the Ultra Red or Night Vision or whatever. I mean, you have so many flankers that I just lost count, and they are definitely not as good as the original. For example, when it came out, I think it was very unique, and even this one in terms of quality is really good in my opinion. Might not be the most unique fragrance, but in terms of quality for a designer, I think mainstream designer, I think it's really good. It's a solid alternative for tobacco vanille, for example, and for, in the end, for tobacco or vanilla fragrances that you might love. And I think this is really a solid alternative. It's still, although you can see the inspiration of tobacco vanille, of Herod in here, but it's still, in the end, it's a fragrance in its own, and I think you will really shine with this one, and the performance is fantastic. Beautiful fragrance right here, spicy tobacco and vanilla fragrance that it's perfect for the colder weather, and it's just sexiness in a bottle. It's Spicebomb Extreme by Viktor and Rolf. And last but definitely not least, this is from the house of Loewe, and this is underrated. Although I already featured this fragrance previously, But this fragrance is very underrated. It is Loewe 7 Anonimo. Now, this is the older bottle presentation, because nowadays it comes in a rectangular, sleek bottle presentation. It has like a grayish color, and I think it wasn't reformulated, because very recently I tried let's say the newer version, and it still smells the same. I don't know in terms of performance. I know that this one performs really well, and it's very oily, it's very concentrated. This is an eau de parfum, and actually the concentration, or at least the oils on the skin, it feels like an extrait. So I don't know in terms of the eau de parfum of the current version of this fragrance, because I just tried it on paper, not on skin. So I don't know if this was reformulated, if they kind of toned down the scent itself. I really don't know. But nowadays you will not find this bottle that easily. Now it will be again the rectangular standard. Now they are standard bottle presentation of Loewe, at least for men. So yeah, there's that. But I still absolutely love this. This is a very unique scent for a designer, high quality scent. This is spices, lots of incense, leather, patchouli. Amazing fragrance. This is dark, it's deep, it's rich, it's enveloping, it's to die for. Absolutely love this, and this is a sleeper. I mean, I don't see this fragrance being talked about in the fragrance community, so I don't know. Maybe it's because of distribution, because maybe Loewe doesn't distribute their fragrances, I mean, worldwide, or at least they're not as accessible as, for example, here in Portugal, because this is a Spanish brand. So that might justify the reason why not a lot of people are talking about Loewe fragrances in general, because I really think that Loewe has really fantastic fragrances, hidden gems, really, and this is one of them. An incredibly sexy fragrance. Again, incense, spices, leather, patchouli, to die for. And this is also quite resinous. It has like a ambery myrrh feel that it's beautiful. It's really fantastic, high quality fragrance right here. Loewe 7 Anonimo. Highly advise you to check this fragrance out if you have yet to. Now let's talk about niche fragrances here, and the first fragrance from the house of Amouage, and it's Overture Man. This was the fragrance that I wore in New Year's Eve, and yes, actually I got nice feedback while wearing this from my friends. They all really loved this one on me. This is, first of all, I love the bottle presentation of Overture Man. This was the last, some say that this was the last great Amouage. And while I could see that, and to a certain point I can agree with that, but you know, I gave a second chance to Amouage while I was in Lithuania, and honestly, they are not that bad. With the new direction that they have, with the new creative director of Amouage, I mean, their fragrances are not that bad. But well, that's maybe a topic for just a video about Amouage. Overture Man. Let's talk about Overture Man. Overture Man is all about cumin. This is a bit challenging, might be challenging because of that. The cumin, at least on my skin, is very prominent, but it shines on my skin because it has that animalic, sweaty, musky feel that I love, and it really suits me for some reason, because it's also followed by this cognac, this boozy cognac with cardamom, incense, resins. So this is in the end an animalic, spicy, boozy, heavy oriental scent. Absolutely love this fragrance. Love at first sniff, and I'm a proud owner of this fragrance. I mean, the complexity, the richness, the depth. This fragrance has everything. It's a real Amouage scent, and it's very sexy. I mean, it's regal and it's sexy, and you will be noticed, and this fragrance will last. I mean, it has everything. It's Overture Man by Amouage. And actually, I tried Overture Woman too, but for some reason, I didn't connect. But well, it is what it is. You will not like all fragrances, so there's that. But Overture Man, wow, please just try this one if you have yet to. Next fragrance from House of Francesca Bianchi, and I love Francesca Bianchi fragrances. This one is probably the most sexy fragrance that she has, in my opinion. This is Cardinal. It is Under My Skin. This is a Cardinal scent, animalic, sweaty, very musky, but you also have lots of resins and spices and florals. I mean, this fragrance is very complex, but in the end, it's a spicy, leathery, animalic, musky, amber fragrance. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And it's very sexual. It's very Cardinal, enveloping. I absolutely love this. This is an extrait de parfum, and you don't need much sprays because this will last. Absolutely love this. It's a fragrance that really makes me feel sexy. It's Under My Skin by Francesca Bianchi. Next fragrance is from Thomas & Monaco, Raw Gold. Oh my god, this was probably my most hyped fragrance of last year, or at least from the moment I purchased this one, which was in the summer of last year. Raw Gold, wow, it has everything. I already said everything about this fragrance. I mean, this is boozy, you have the coffee, you have the civet, you have leather, you have tonka beans, I mean, ambers, resins overall. So this is a dark, smoky fragrance, animalic with some gourmand touches. Very unique in my opinion, high quality fragrance, and it's a scent that every time I smell it makes me feel very sexy. Absolutely love this. Very rich and very empowering, to be honest. This is Raw Gold. It's beautiful. Actually, I already tried the other two fragrances from Thomas & Monaco, which is Grambo and Aucoeur. I think these are the names. They are fresher. They are in the fresher side of things. I mean, Aucoeur, it's more floral, like a fresh floral, and Grambo it's French Lover. It's Angelica with Galbanum, Vetiver. I mean, French Lover. Immediately, I have a nice sample, a very generous sample of Grambo. I was a huge fan, but it's basically a more intense version of French Lover. I mean, yeah, it's amazing. It's a high quality fragrance, no doubt about that. But for me, it's French Lover. But well, Raw Gold, this is what really matters. For me, it's the best fragrance of the brand so far, and it's the one that really, it's sexy. You will stand out in a crowd, and it's a fragrance that I highly advise you to check out. Again, it's a great scent. Thomas & Monaco, Raw Gold. Next fragrance from the house of Ramon Monegal, and it is Flamenco. Very underrated, this brand overall. Actually, I already talked about this fragrance. Not only this fragrance, but the brand also. I'm a huge fan of this brand. Ramon Monegal has a lot of variety in his portfolio. So you have the more playful, sexy, sweet fragrances like Flamenco is. Then you have the Don't Touch My Wood, which is, for me, the best wood line that you can buy nowadays. Then you have the musks, then you have the freshies. You have really a bit of everything. And it's not overwhelming, in my opinion, at least. Flamenco, it's raspberry, jammy rose, amber, and musk. So damn sexy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's enveloping, it's warm, it's sweet, and you just want to keep smelling. I actually already, again, received compliments while wearing this one, and yeah, usually I wear this when I go to a night out, or when I will just hang out with my friends, be with my girlfriend, and it's always, I mean, it's a type of fragrance that, okay, if I want, it's like tonight, I want that people will notice. Yeah, I will wear Flamenco. I can wear others that will serve the same purpose, but yeah, this one is a bit loud, so you need to go easy on the spray, because although this is an eau de parfum, this will project and this will last. So, and this can be a bit overwhelming because of the sweetness. You really need to have a sweet tooth to appreciate this one. This was not low at first sniff for me, for example, because of its sweetness. It can be overwhelming, and this has a metallic nuance, like the jammy rose with the raspberry. I mean, create some sort of a metallic feel. It's mild, but it's there. So also be aware about that if you are not very into metallic notes. I'm definitely not into metallic notes. The only fragrance that I have and that I love that really has a metallic feel, it's Platinum Egoist by Chanel, and it's that. But this one, it's subdued. I mean, it's not something that you will pinpoint right away, but if you smell close, you will sense it. But in the end, this is all about the jammy rose with raspberry, with amber, musk. I mean, so good, so good. If you want to feel sexy and you want to be noticed, Flamenco by Ramon Monegal, and I love this bottle presentation. Next fragrance from Profumum Roma, of course, Patchouli. This is probably one of the most complimented fragrances from Profumum Roma in my experience. I have Dulcis in Fundo, Acqua di Sale, and I think this one, I mean, these are the top three in no specific order. Patchouli, I mean, this for me is the best patchouli fragrance. Let's start from that. This is the best patchouli fragrance that you can buy. This is the most realistic, the most rich, deep, dark, heavy patchouli fragrance that you will try. Of course, you also have Reminiscence Patchouli, which goes in the same realm, not as deep, but still really good. You have the Jovoy Psychedelic, which also goes in this territory, but I think it's not as good as this one, because the Psychedelic, it's much sweeter, it has sweeter notes, and this one is more real to the patchouli and some resin, some myrrh. It's to die for. Yes, it's a full fragrance. It's a chocolatey, cakey, earthy, damp patchouli with some resins. Absolutely glorious, and it's a fragrance that makes me feel very sexy. It's rich. It will shine. It's a fragrance that shines on my skin. It really compliments me. It's one of my all-time favorites from Profumum Roma, and it's again the best patchouli. It's the best patchouli out there. Absolutely love this. Great performance also, and again, if you love patchouli, this is a must-have. Patchouli by Profumum Roma. And last but definitely not least, this is a newer comer-ish to the collection. This was one of my final acquisitions to the collection last year in December, and I wore this so much in December. This was probably one of my most worn, if not my most worn fragrance in December. It is from the house of Xerjoff. It's Tony Iommi, or just Iommi. This fragrance is so addicting. First of all, I love the bottle presentation, and this fragrance kinda reignited the fire between me and this brand, Xerjoff, because I have a lot of fragrances from Xerjoff, and but for some reason last year, 2022, I mean, I wasn't very into Xerjoff fragrances for some reason. I was very into Chanel, definitely, but yeah, for some reason Xerjoff I didn't really connect it last year. not the case, at least in the beginning of this year. I already added quite a few Sergio, and actually I have to record like my fragrance haul, my first fragrance haul of this year, because I already added at least 10. Not just Sergio, of course, but there are a few Sergio in there. And this is a fragrance that kind of, you know, bursts the flame again. This is, you have like passion fruit with boozy, licorice feel, patchouli. It's just to die for. This fragrance is, oh yeah, it's boozy like a cognac. You have the passion fruit, and then you have this damp, earthy patchouli with some incense. It's glorious. This fragrance is glorious. And then of course you have amber in here as well to add some sweetness. But I love this fragrance. I love the passion fruit. I love the cognac feel that this has. Love the damp, earthy patchouli. I just want to smell this and smell this over and over. This is so damn sexy. I mean, this is really, I mean, this is one of my most, if not my most one fragrance in December when I purchased this one. When I was in Lithuania, I spent there 2 weeks in December, and this was the fragrance that I wore the most, hands down. And my girlfriend really loves this one. So yes, incredibly sexy fragrance right here. And I mean, again, this bottle presentation, love it, love it. It's Wyoming from Sergio. Finishing this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me in the comments down below what fragrances you consider sexy, fragrances that make you feel sexy for this year. Love to hear the fragrances that you will mention, and see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Ciao.